shot at me. So I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give enough. That's all.
Cool.
I just didn't give enough about it all.
Yeah, but when you say in the comments,
up,
you said something there. I think he's an attention seeker. So even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
Stylistically, he believes he's the best, and I know I'm the best, and that's why we're getting to this point now. He wants to challenge himself. I'm here for it. I'm here to challenge myself every time.
Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez gear up for their January 31st clash as the boxing world watches closely. Precision discipline and elite defense meet raw power, confidence, and aggression, making this confirmed showdown one of the most talked about fights of the year.
But it's cool. He's supposed to feel that way. Like, he's supposed to say the things that he's saying. He's not saying nothing out of the ordinary or something that I didn't expect. Only thing that I kind of took away, he got on a podcast, I want to say, he said that I was slow. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come up?
Heated press conferences set the tone as Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez come face-to-face, while Teofimo's father jumps into the exchange. Shakur points out weaknesses he believes exist in Teofimo's game and dismisses the southpaw argument, saying records mean nothing without elite opposition. Teofimo's father fires back, questioning Shakur's resume and insisting he must prove everything on the biggest stage. The back and forth grows tense, with raised voices and sharp remarks. The moment feels chaotic, personal, and intense, adding extra drama and pressure ahead of the January 31st fight.
To what he just said.
I'm not none of them fighters. I think that he did some great things against them guys. I seen a lot of weaknesses in his game too, and something that he said earlier, he said, Teo never lost to a southpaw. Well, I never lost to an orthodox. So it ain't no different, but
the difference is you never fought no elite fighter.
Okay, I don't think y'all did either.
Oh, so you gotta show it, baby.
I don't think y'all did either.
It's not on my son.
I ain't see Lomachenko throw no punches.
You never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko throw punches for 6 rounds. You never been.
Eddie Hearn praises Shakur, calling him highly underrated when it comes to his abilities and accomplishments. Despite his achievements in both the amateur and professional ranks, many fans and analysts don't fully recognize his technical mastery, speed, and ring intelligence. Hearn emphasizes that Shakur's consistency, adaptability, and determination make him one of the most impressive boxers of his generation, and he believes the world is only beginning to appreciate just how exceptional Stevenson truly is.
I think Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound, top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between two of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is we're seeing them in their prime.
Roy Jones Jr. breaks down the matchup while speaking with Shakur Stevenson and focuses on adaptability as the key factor. Roy explains that fighters who move well can create problems and that adjusting to movement is often the hardest challenge. Shakur responds by saying he plans to stay versatile rather than relying on one style. He explains that he is prepared to move, use angles, or stand his ground if needed to secure the win. Roy praises Shakur for showing flexibility in past fights and says those qualities create the best matchups. He also notes that Teofimo can be dangerous when focused and capable of making in-fight adjustments. According to Roy, the outcome depends heavily on mindset, preparation, and execution. If both fighters are locked in, it becomes a high-level chess match. Roy encourages Shakur to keep his confidence, hunger, and winning mentality moving forward.
You're doing great things. I think you have a masterful foot game as well. And I think that's probably what's going to be to the hardest thing for him to adjust to. So how do you think he's going to adjust to that?
I don't want to give out too much.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, we all know he had problems with people that move around the ring. that stand in front of them, and he could pick them apart when you stand right there in front of him. But I plan on doing. I mean, I'm not going to say the game plan, but I plan on doing a little bit of both. I don't
I got you.
plan on doing moving around. I don't plan on just standing in front. I plan on doing everything that it takes to win.
And I do applaud the fact that you did, like Andre just said, you did show people that you are versatile. You can do whatever is necessary to win a fight. This is the best, in my opinion. These are the best type of fighters to see. And Teofimo has shown sometimes that he can also be versatile and he can do whatever's necessary. Just sometimes he seems to have mental issues that go on in and out of his life.
Analysts have been discussing the state of boxing this past month, highlighting how promotion and hype often don't match reality. One major point of criticism is how some highly anticipated cards, like the one in February 2025, failed to live up to expectations. Fans were excited, calling it the best card in boxing history, but injuries and pullouts ruined the lineup. Shakur Stevenson ended up facing an unknown opponent while other top fights fell through. This leads to questions about how events are promoted and the credibility of hype. Analysts also point out that DAZN and The Ring failed to properly promote Shakur Stevenson's latest fight, which featured Teofimo Lopez. Despite the potential for an exciting matchup, poor promotion and fan expectations create confusion. On paper, both fighters are skilled, but without proper marketing, even great fights risk being overlooked, highlighting gaps in the business side of boxing.
Then, to do that and then not even promote the fight, this is a cool fight. I don't understand, like, to me, it's a bit bizarre because the fans came out and they were like, man, Turkey, he's taking over the game. Remember last year, about a year ago, in February of 2025, he had the card with Better Biev and Bivol and whoever else was on it. And the card was announced and people said, this is the best card that we've ever seen in boxing history. Then the fight card came. Shakur's opponent pulled out, Floyd Schofield. Daniel Dubois pulled out of the fight, right? Because he was sick. And it wasn't this legendary card that people talked about. You know what I mean? And people, no one even says that now. Before they were talking about like, oh, it's the best card boxing's ever seen. And then the card happened and it kind of just came and went. It wasn't the card that they said it was going to be. Put it that way. So that's the point I'm making in this video is like a lot of the preconceived notions that you guys put out, not Boxing Ego. I ain't put that out on my channel, right? But a lot of the stuff y'all said turned out to be cap. Here's the card in question, bro. They're like, this is the best card we've ever seen. And then half of the fights, two of the top three fights didn't even go off as planned because of injuries and sicknesses and pullout. And Shakur ended up fighting an electrician that no one ever heard of except for UK blokes, you know, Padlock or whatever.
Floyd Schofield sent a shocking message to Shakur Stevenson, questioning the legitimacy of some of the hype surrounding him and other fighters. Schofield criticized the idea of fantasy matchups, pointing out that neither Tank nor Shakur has faced the top 4 opponents of their eras, despite fans calling for those fights for years. He emphasized that many fights being talked about are unrealistic and don't reflect the reality of the sport. Schofield also addressed comments about fighters' physiques, clarifying that stockiness or build doesn't determine skill or success in the ring. He expressed his hope that Shakur faces strong opponents like Khan before moving up in weight, highlighting the importance of taking challenges seriously rather than avoiding them. By calling out fighters who leave or run from tough matchups, Schofield aims to encourage accountability and respect for competition. His message serves as a reminder that records and hype alone don't define a fighter's legacy.
Fight. Shakur haven't fought none of the top 4 of his era for the last, how many years they've been calling for them to fight? These dudes not fighting like that. So that's fantasy fights, thinking, oh, Keyshawn gonna go all the way up and fight Devin. And man, that's fantasy stuff. That's all that stuff is. And
you even said that he was like cut up and shit, you know what I mean, on that, what you said, snack?
No, I said I respect. Oh, do you mean a thing? What you talking about?
Keisha.
Yeah, Keyshawn got stocky. He got stocky, but he got stockiness don't mean nothing. Go to 147. 140, Keyshawn would be a good fight for Kid. I think
So is that why you
Keyshawn.
upset?
I think he. Huh?
Is that why you upset because he's leaving?
I'm never upset. I'm not upset telling the truth about these guys leaving and running. I said it years ago what was going to happen. People told me I was lying. Oh, y'all capping. Y'all ain't going to fight Keyshawn. I said, Keyshawn ain't fighting us. I said, Shakur ain't fighting us. Yeah, we lined up for Shakur. We didn't pull out. It's a fact. Why won't we get the fight when he got out the hospital? It wasn't his fault. He trained hard. He did everything else. Somebody tried to kill him. And the toxicology showed that. Why wasn't a real champion want to give this young man a fight who really stepped up to the plate to fight him and went through all this adversity to make it there, and somebody poisoned him? He deserved a shot to fight. But that wasn't like that there. And it's for a reason. So, I found out this shit is just smoke and mirrors, man. Has nothing to do with boxing. Has a lot to do with the money made behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I know Shakur better step it up, or that's boring for boxing. So they're not going to keep him. Even if he win, if that fight continue to be boring.
Analysts Ak and Barak break down the upcoming Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, highlighting the contrast in their journeys and mindsets. Shakur is described as intensely passionate, driven from his amateur days to be the best in the sport, and now aiming for pound-for-pound recognition and a place on boxing's Mount Rushmore. Teofimo, while talented and passionate, has faced setbacks, including personal struggles and lapses in motivation, which at times made him consider stepping away from boxing. Analysts note that these challenges could either fuel a chip-on-the-shoulder mentality or create vulnerabilities against a focused fighter like Shakur. They emphasize that Shakur's consistency and competitive edge, sharpened through years of high-level training and sparring with greats like Bud Crawford, make him a dangerous opponent. Teofimo's recent return to his first love and sharp performances against top fighters signal he is ready for this high-stakes clash, promising an exciting and unpredictable showdown.
About the sport. He's a kid that has always wanted to be considered the best in the sport. From the amateurs till now, he wants to be pound for pound top dog. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore, so on and so forth. Teofimo, I feel that he's had that passion, right? But he's had lapses to at times where he thought about even quote unquote retired and said he was done with this game. He's had, sometimes, at times issues with his father that, they've been able to reconcile and move on, but kind of lost some passion for the sport because of the way he was treated. Now, I don't know if that helps you because it creates this chip on your shoulder as a fighter to keep continuing to prove the world wrong that you are one of the best, or if it psychologically affects you against a guy like Shakur.
Yeah, I think a guy when you go against a guy like Shakur reminds me of Bud Crawford. You can't have those lapses. You can't have that kind of mindset. And I think, Teo's been very vocal about the things that he struggled with. And, he was going through a divorce and all of these things were making it really, really hard for him to focus on his first love. But that's the thing. Recently, he said he came back to his first love. He remembers that this is what got him everything he has. And he's back in love with boxing. And that's what we've been wanting to hear. And when we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Josh Taylor. When we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Lomachenko and also willing to fight all these guys. Now think about this. I know we call big, heavy punches the boogeyman, but usually the boogeyman is the guy that's hard to beat. And Shakur, nobody really wanted to fight him.
Shakur Stevenson says every fight he steps into, he wants to be dominant. Regardless of the opponent, his goal is to perform so clearly and decisively that judges can't even consider robbing him. He carries a constant chip on his shoulder, driving him to assert control in the ring and show that he is one of the best fighters of his era. Winning this fight, he believes, would secure him a spot in the top 5 pound-for-pound rankings and establish him as one of the 4 kings of boxing. How he performs, his style and decisiveness, will define how history remembers him. Shakur also addresses Teofimo Lopez's controversial behavior, calling it attention-seeking and predicting it will backfire when they face off on January 31st. While he has spoken to Floyd Mayweather, it wasn't about strategy. Rather, it was general conversation. Shakur remains focused on proving himself through action in the ring, not words, letting his skill, speed, and determination speak for him in this high-stakes showdown.
But do I gotta be dominant? I think every fight that I set up, I want to be dominant. I don't care who in front of me. I want to dominate. I want to beat you to where judges don't feel like they can rob me. So I always got that feeling. I always got that chip on my shoulder.
If you do win this fight, what do you think it does for your career?
I think it put me top 5 pound for pound. I think it puts me like one of the best fighters in my era. I think it just established that I'm that guy. Like, I'll be one of the 4 kings that they call the 4 kings, and it also depends on the fashion that I do it. So, it's gonna be interesting.
But what be going on with this Teo dude though, man? I be seeing these videos online of him making racist comments. You be seeing that, man?
I think he's an attention seeker. So, even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
And I heard you say that you and Floyd spoke about this fight.
No, I ain't really asked him advice about the fight. When I talk to him, we talk about different things, but he just was telling me that I should be the A side in the fight. That's what I said.
Bazzi Ennis drops a truth bomb for Teofimo. Shakur Stevenson's speed is his real power. While some believe Teofimo has the advantage with his weight, athleticism, and explosiveness, Ennis points out that Shakur has successfully boxed bigger opponents, even light heavyweights, using movement and precision. He notes that underestimating Shakur's punch and timing could be costly because it's the unseen shots that hurt the most. Ennis predicts the fight could go the distance, likely ending in a decision, but warns that if Teofimo missteps and runs into Shakur's punches, it could change quickly. Speed, accuracy, and boxing IQ make Shakur dangerous at any weight, and opponents can't rely solely on size or strength. Ennis emphasizes that Teofimo must respect Shakur's timing and agility to avoid being caught off guard.
You know what I mean? People think, a lot of people say it's going to be easy and all. Nah. Teofimo can punch and he can box. And like I said, he's real athletic. So, you know what I mean? That'll make it a little difficult right there. You know what I mean?
I see a lot of people going back and forth with it. Some people think Teo got the advantage because of the weight and that he's athletic and explosive. Some people say Shakur is the better boxer.
Yes.
Right? How you see that fight ending?
Well, they saying, they got the weight and all that. I see Shakur box big guys, light heavyweights and all that stuff. Just like moves. He box heavyweights and put the heavyweights down. You know what I mean? I think that's the right move for him. You know what I mean? Get up, and I think he can really do good at that weight.
This isn't a stoppage.
I'm looking at a decision, not a stoppage. But then it all according how Teo come in. Teo come at him. He's gonna run into some shots. It might be over. You know what I mean?
Now you always tell me it's the shot that you don't see coming.
That's it.
That power is speed.
Right.
So could it be a situation where people underestimate Shakur's punching power?
Yeah. I think Shakur can punch. You know what I mean? I think he can punch. It's just like I said, speed is power. Not them guys, muscle bound guys come in and they tell me, he can punch and all that.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next